I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsor. If you have a laser device for training and you want to take it to the next level, or if you're looking to get into using a laser device for training, check out the products at laserapp.com. LASRAPP.com. You can use code CSP2021 for 15% off the items you've selected. And thanks for checking them out. Welcome to this week's edition of the Casual Shooters Podcast, your premier podcast for the casual shooter. This week you have me and you have Leo.
Hello, everybody.
And our guest this week is with us from the East Coast of the United States, and his name is Rob Epifania. So let's bring Rob in. How you doing, Rob?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Good. Fresh off a weekend of teaching, I'm sure you're fully energetic, ready to go.
Oh, totally. Our flight was 6:30 a.m. this morning.
Oh, yummy.
Not at all jet lagged or tired or.
No. I was just doing Instagram Live, actually.
Okay. You're going to double your pleasure today.
Let's have fun. Can't wait.
All right. So, Rob, what we normally do is we take a minute. We ask a few personal questions to get to know you, and then we move on from there.
Okay.
All right, Leo, take it away.
All right. So these are really hard-hitting questions, especially this first one. So there is a right answer to all these questions. Just be advised. I'm just setting you up, so you're not disappointed when we kick you out early. Mm-hmm. But the first question, probably the most important, what is your favorite movie?
Oh, see, I was thinking about this because I heard you guys with Matt. I kind of cheated a little bit.
Okay.
Right.
That's good.
I don't particularly have a favorite, but to me, I always like the John Wick series of movies. Like they always love them. Go watch them over and over again.
Okay. Upside, that is one of the right answers.
Yes.
So,
victory.
It's kind of like practical shooting.
Yeah. Thus far, you're doing okay.
Okay.
All right. So next question, shifting a little bit from the visual and more towards the contemplative. What is your favorite book?
So I currently have two of them.
Okay.
One of them is called Winning by Tim Grover, and the other one is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. So I bought the audio version of David Goggins' book because it is awesome. It has like a little podcast as well throughout the book. I listened to one audiobook for 6 months last year, and it was that book, and I listened to about 5,500 minutes of it over and over again.
Okay.
Is that good?
That's a lot of minutes.
Yes.
Now, curiosity question.
Sure.
Is he reading it or is someone else reading it?
So someone else is reading it for him. He reads the introduction and the outro, but there's about 2 hours worth of podcast in it, 2 to 3 hours worth. And he is part of that. So like that's like how we're talking, they're doing back and forth, and it is really, really good. Really, really good.
Now, is it him and like Jocko, or is it just him and whomever?
Adam Skolnick was the guy that he chose to do it.
Okay.
I mean, he did a good job reading the book, and they seem to have a good dynamic in the podcast part of it.
Okay.
So it was cool. It was, 5,500 minutes. I would hope it's good.
I'm assuming he talks about when he gave himself rhabdo.
Yes.
One or two times where he's like, I'm going to kill myself to win this. Yeah. Okay.
Mental toughness wise, huge. Those two books are huge.
Okay.
Big difference in my mindset and in helping me do better in practical shooting.
And for those not mathematically inclined, that's greater than 90 hours of listening.
I was hoping you would figure that out because I'm like, that's a lot. I just don't know how much.
That's a lot.
Okay.
Man, almost 4 days worth of listening. That's crazy.
4 straight days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, interestingly enough, that's actually a pretty decent segue because both he and you seem to be kind of on that upward trajectory of elite awesomeness in the human being. So, who is your favorite superhero?
See, that's another one. I was listening to Matt's podcast. I'm like, oh man, who would I choose? I mean, back in the day, Superman was probably my favorite. At this point, I don't really think about it much anymore. But I always liked he's fast and he, was so strong and this and that, and he was the superhero, like the original superhero. So to me, that was pretty cool.
Okay.
All right. All right. Now your favorite gun and caliber, but they don't have to be the same. Like mine is it could be a pistol and a rifle caliber or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I mean, currently speaking, the Atlas guns that I'm shooting, they're probably my favorites. They're my first real taste of 2011s, and I've liked them a lot so far. Right. Caliber wise, I mean, I don't really have a preference or a favorite, but I shot a lot of 9 over the past couple of years. So I probably shot 150,000 rounds of 9. So that's probably in terms of action is my favorite.
Okay. So do you shoot production or limited?
I shot production from when I started shooting USPSA, and I started shooting limited the last 5 months, November of last year.
So right after nationals?
Yeah. Well, after limited nationals, yeah, but production nationals was back in May.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was early, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did that to us.
They did. That wasn't very nice of them. So
It
are
worked
you?
out all right though.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit then, since
Sure.
we talked about it. Are you shooting limited nationals or production nationals?
So I am still undecided. Um,
Oh,
it depends on a couple things, right? So production was always that was what I wanted to do everything in. But if production's kind of dying out for one, so if it's dying out and then the competition really isn't there, I want to go where the competition goes for the most part. So that's one consideration. Two, if I'm shooting limited really well, which it seems like it's going to be a good fit for me, I'll stay with limited. It's not. I'm not committed to one or the other. My goals are the same regardless of the division. So, but I'm not decided yet on what I'm going to do.
okay. I mean, there's a chance Nils could be shooting production in October.
Yeah. Either way, the goal's the same. So
Right.
it's just a matter of which top guy am I trying to gauge off of.
I hear you. Okay. So, when was the first time you shot a gun?
First time I shot a gun, I want to say it was around 2008. So I was about 25 at the time. So we're from New
You're a
York,
full
right?
blown adult. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually built my first gun. So I built my first
like Cracker
AR.
Jack box or
No, like, put a lower together, that kind of assemble, I should say. Assemble.
Okay. So an AR type of a
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
Okay.
I built an AR at the time. I remember the first time I went to shoot it. I was, you get that nervousness that like, is it gonna work? Like,
right. It's something gonna blow up.
and then I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then, it wasn't that loud I said, oh, it's not that loud with my hearing protection. So I popped one ear a little bit, and I'll never do that again. I had ringing in my ear for about a week. So,
oh wow.
because it was one of the Michelek comps, right? Because it was a New York compliant gun at the time.
Wow.
Based on New York's law back then. They are an AWB state, and yeah, it was louder than I expected it to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, just for future reference, it's a contained explosion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just for everyone out there, guns go boom.
We do silly things. And I was like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'm right behind the gun. It's not going to make a difference. And it was like ping, and I'm like,
I'm behind the sound. The
Right.
sound's
All
in
the
front of me.
noise
It's
is going
fine.
that
Yeah,
way.
it's
yeah.
safe.
Oh yeah, no, it's no problem.
Yeah.
It's like the Call
That's how
of
sound
Duty
works.
flashbang. Like that's what I heard. It's funny, man.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and it
Oh,
didn't go away for a couple of days.
So how at 25 did you decide, you know what, I'm gonna construct an AR and go shoot?
So I'd always been into first person shooters. I always liked playing first person shooters most of my life, right? And I had some friends that were getting into shooting. They were building guns and this and that. Like my friend Brian, who's an NYPD, I think he's an NYPD sergeant now. he had showed me his first, he had brought Bushmaster AR over to my house. We were all car guys at the time. So we were all, building, modifying cars. Like every weekend we'd have like 15 cars doing work like down the block. It was fun at the time. And he brought it over and I'm like, wow, this is awesome. Right. And then after that, it was a couple months later, like I figured out how to do it and what I needed to get, found ar15.com. And then, a couple months later, I had my first build. It was a stag upper. They had a group buy, and I purchased a lower from one of the stores around here, and it was a stag. Yeah, because the parts kit came from stag, and then the whole upper was a stag upper. And it was a good gun. I had it for quite a while. I ran through a couple classes and that, and it worked. It ran hard.
Okay. So how did you go from putting together an AR and shooting that for your first time to, I think I'm going to buy a pistol and shoot USPSA?
So the transition took a while. I played volleyball at the time competitively, and I was pursuing volleyball with the same kind of focus and intent that I'm pursuing shooting now. 2010, I had a motorcycle accident, and I lost the use of my right foot in terms of being able to lift it up. A lot of bad shit, a whole bunch of other body stuff that went on. I didn't have road rash, but I was bleeding internally, a whole other stuff. But I have drop foot and I can't lift my right foot. So 2011, so volleyball sports like hard cutting sports, playing at a high level was not going to happen, right? And I wasn't getting paid to do it, so it wasn't worth it. So I had seen a class advertised in late 2011, rifle class, right? Modern Defensive Training Systems is the name of the company who did it. Chris Fry is the owner. So I went over there and I took the class and I was like, this is awesome. How can I learn how to teach, right? And talk to Chris. This is something I can get very good at and be good at for a long time without having to be the most athletic. So I got my instructor certifications the next year, right? And along that, 2009, I got my handgun permit, and I started to learn about shooting handgun. I wasn't very good at the beginning, but did well with the defensive stuff over the next couple of years. And then it was like I trained with Tactical Performance Center, Frank Proctor, Travis Haley, the guys that start to blend both performance and defensive shooting, right? And I said, I was always performing at the top of those classes. And I said, well, now I got to see what I can do in competition. Right. And originally it was like, yeah, I'm going to shoot 2 competitions in the first year, and in 2018 started and I shot my first competition. I'm like, yes, this is what I'm going for. Like, done. The obsession took over.
They sunk the hook deep in you.
Oh, they did. And it's still in there. It's probably like 5 of them now.
Oh, so how many matches are you shooting a year now?
At this point, mid last year and now this year, I'm probably shooting 3 a month. I think I have this year. I think I have 15 majors set up or something like that. I got to take a look at that. Let me see. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Nationals and then Area 6 that I just shot. So yeah, 15.
Wow.
Casual participation is not necessary.
Yeah. Holy cow. So, well, first off, how tall are you?
6'3".
We got a ringer, Leo.
Well, when he said he played volleyball,
yeah,
I was like, so
I had a
sand or indoor?
No, it was indoor. I like this. Okay. I like the speed of indoor better because it was all about you're moving constantly, agility, jumping. My vertical was close to 40 inches at the time.
So I was going to ask, were you up on the net just slapping people in the face with big old balls?
Yeah, pretty much.
I said what I said. Right? I don't take it back.
That's what she said.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. Just think about that. Like, how big is that hand? Like, I would love to be able to put your hand and Huggy's hand together and see just that meat hook slapping a ball in somebody's eye hole.
Oh, I almost knocked someone out one time.
See,
it was bad. Like his hands were too slow, and it literally smacked him right in the eye, and he was like he was like wobbling around and dizzy for like 15 minutes. Savage. It's pretty savage compared.
Yeah, man.
Looks like he needs to find another sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
Needs, or
Seriously.
faster hands.
Yeah.
But that's like anything at those elite levels. Like you catch an elite level soccer player, you catch a ball to the face. That like, oof.
That shit hurts.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like my 5-year-old hit me in the face with a freaking ball from the ball pit. Like it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's unpleasant.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Almost as unpleasant as taking your earmuffs off when you're shooting.
Yeah, well, it's rookie mistake as we call it, right? That was kind of dumb, but
it happens.
Guys, wear your ear protection all the time.
Yeah.
Silly.
But yeah, we've done the formula, and so right now you meet at least one of the criteria for being a national champion, which is that you're above 6 foot.
Awesome, man. Well, that's my goal in 3 years. So 2024. That's where I'm looking.
Him and Trump.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good. Me and Mr. Donald going after it.
There you go. Now you mentioned Atlas guns earlier. What are you shooting in production?
So in production currently, so I was shooting Shadow 2s up until the end of last year, and then I started to notice the front heavy design of the Shadow 2 is not so great for transitions. Right, my recoil control is fine. I don't need to do anything with that. So I noticed I was having to stop the inertia, the extra mass that sits in front of the gun. So I started looking at other options. And ironically, I said, "Oh well, Nils shot a Canic, right, or Janik as they pronounce it, right?" And he won he won nationals. I'm like, okay, yeah. Well, I literally just put it down before my hold on right here. There we go. Yeah. So a guy on training group forum was selling 2 of them, and I said, he's like I'm looking for a trade for a Shadow. So I'm like, okay, I have a Shadow. I had 3 of them at the time. So I said, okay, hey, you want to trade? Straight up trade. I got 2 Canics. Got one that's brand new. I got this one that had a couple thousand rounds on it, and I've been impressed ever since. The balance is excellent on those guns, and it's like a little laser beam. It goes pew, pew, like. Second you look, it shows up. Like, right? You got to make the noises too. Noises are important.
Exactly.
Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
Right. No, it doesn't.
Well,
count.
and when we interviewed Phil Strader after nationals, he was sweating that Nils was going to win limited with a Canic because he's like, oh my God, if this guy wins with a 9mm, my boss is going to tell me to stop all 40 production. And we're done with 40.
He came so close to it too. He really did.
Yeah. That was
impressive.
Super close. That guy with a gun is very impressive.
Yeah. And he's over 6 foot. So
he's well over 6 foot.
Yeah.
But I was at SHOT Show and there was a guy that made Nils look short, so that works for Canic.
Okay.
I think he's 6'10".
Wow.
Something like that.
I haven't seen
really
one of those in a long time. Not since my basketball.
He's really tall.
Yeah.
Even Andrei Arlovsky was there, and he made Nils look small, which Andrei's not a small dude anyway. So.
Yeah, no, he's not.
So okay, are you doing hand loads out of your Canic?
Yes. Yeah. So I shoot in my Canic, I was using Tight Group, Brass Monkey Bullets. They sponsor me this year.
Okay.
So I was shooting their 125 round nose out of it, and it runs good. But they have some good bullets just in general. I mean, their 125s are good. Their 135s are good. So Juanchik is sponsored by them also as of recently. He likes their 150s it's 147s or 150s out of the PDP shooting. You know, he was telling me the polymer guns are a little bit better with the heavier bullets. He prefers it that way.
I heard him saying something about that recently, how he's liking the feel of the recoil better with the it's either 147 or 50, like you said.
Yeah.
The heavier bullet. Have you changed anything on your Canic, the trigger or the springs?
So this one came to me like, with the exception of the silicon carbide I did, this came to me like this. So it's got a Freedom Smith trigger. It's got a Sprinco recoil system in here, Sprinko
Okay.
striker. I want to say there's one more thing in here. I can't think of it right now. But he put the brass backstrap on here, so that adds a little bit more balance to it. And I did the
Nice.
silicone carbide job with the help of YouTube, right? The YouTube.
I want to do it, but I'm so afraid I'm going to screw it up bad and not be able to get it off. So
Yeah, honestly speaking, if you send me a message, just remind me, and I'll send you the video I used for it. And
okay.
honestly, it was really easy to do. It was 20, 30 minutes, and the materials, they cost you $40, and they last you like 10 guns. So like you have plenty of screwing up that you could do.
Yeah,
you know?
and the upside, you got more than one that you can practice on.
Yes. So I had this one had the town grips on.
Wife's.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So my fiance, she was with me at the training group summit, and she shot my Atlas guns. And she's tough, right? Like when it comes to that, but her plan was like literally bleeding because of how aggressive those grips are. There's some permanent markings on the gun from where she was like ripping skin off. So it was funny. But yeah, no, that works well. It takes 20 minutes to do, and it makes a great difference. And the tutorial on the video was excellent. I had the town grips on here before, and I found that within like a couple weeks of training from my grip pressure, I literally started ripping the town grips off because I was heating up the adhesive and actually removing the grips.
I mean, it's not designed for Superman hands.
Yeah,
that's just you have freakishly non-human monkey hands. That's just you can't. Yeah,
with all the calluses to boot too. So
that's the upside to having small hands.
Yeah,
and I like a super gritty grip.
Yeah.
So I was using the Talon. I thought they were okay. I was finding that it was coming off. So like Leo and I went to Handle It Grips.
Not a sponsor, but
right, definitely not a sponsor. And I tried that. It's a little grittier, which I like. But I was just at the Delmarva match over the weekend, and Bill Duda was making fun of me, saying, he's like, really? You're going to use Handle It grips? Because I guess he used them, and they would spin on them. They would rotate on the grip. And that's when he ended up going to silicone carbide. So I'm still considering doing that.
Super happy with the result for sure. I think I used 60/90 on mine, and it's a good blend. If you like a little bit more aggressive, the guy talks about more aggressive ones in the video, and he did a great job. It's really easy to follow along with too.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Dave do it first.
Yeah,
on his wife's gun.
Yeah, which is man. My wife doesn't have a gun, so we got to sacrifice somebody.
There you go.
You toughen up her hands too. She gets some calluses. She'll be good to go.
Now, have you seen or had a chance to shoot the new Rival?
I have not, but I'm very curious. The main thing that I really like about the Rival, more than anything, is the magwell is a little flared, right?
Yes.
So this magwell this is Shadow 2 magwell. So I learned to reload how I reload on a Shadow 2. So I'm no stranger to tiny magwells, but the Rival with a little bit of extra flare, it gives you a little bit more room for error, right? A little bit more room for error is always nice, for sure.
Yeah, and it's not a lot; it's just a little bit, but
It's just
absolutely.
Enough. Doesn't have to be much to make a big difference.
Well, and the reason I ask is it doesn't have the 5.2, but it's got the 5-point-inch barrel. But I now have one. But when I was messing with them at SHOT Show as well, I mean, the rear sights are fully adjustable for elevation and windage.
That's great.
Yeah. So
Dave, do you have yours back?
You can pinpoint it. What's that? I do.
Do you have yours back? I can pull mine off the wall.
All right, go ahead and pull yours off the wall.
Do it.
Because I don't have mine right here. So I had an issue where there's something up with the chamber cut on it.
Okay.
There were some bullets that hand load only that didn't want to work in the chamber, but they'd work in all my other mechanics. So they just sent me a new one.
I did notice something where I had to load a little bit shorter for this one than the Shadow 2. And I load the Shadow 2 short to begin with. Yeah.
So here's your flare magwell.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
compared to the beat up.
Now flip it around though and show them the.
It just looks
yours already has a dot on it.
So, oh yeah, but I have
That's
actually.
all right.
Hold on, I have the site.
You got the plate? Yeah, grab the plate.
It's the upside of doing your
Here
show
we
in the
go.
gun room. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. You can see it's even indexed in the middle, so you
Yeah.
know exactly where the center line is. So very nice.
That
Very
is a
impressive.
very, very nice feature.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Very
expect
nice.
that out of a, just a standard factory gun.
Right.
So,
Some of those Turkish guns have been kind of nice coming out. My buddy Noel, he works with Gersan, right? And the way they come out with changes, it's quick, right? We were talking about their regard, and we were talking about the same kind of thing, and within like a couple weeks, like all of a sudden we see fiber optic front sight, and we got a fully adjustable rear, and it's quick, and they're, he has a gun named after him too, which is kind of cool.
oh
Because
wow, that's pretty wild.
he's been shooting for them for a couple of years. He's got a 1911, one of their 1911s named after him. It's like the 1911 SC Knoll or something like that. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, not many people
Wow.
can say that.
No, not at all. So, how long did it take you to make GM shooting production?
So I started in April of 20. My first USPSA match was April 2018ish,
Okay.
right? Um, Technically speaking, if the Nationals classifier would have gone through in May, I would have had it in May. So just about 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. But it took the extra 6 or 7 months for it to finally go through. So I had it by,
Mm,
it was end of November, beginning of December this past year.
right. But you actually shot the score in May, so yeah.
Yeah, it was like 96% on that stage, and then it was
Okay.
yeah. So it was 100, and then at the time I was like, yeah, no, I got everything now. But then I was shooting a bunch of other majors, and I had 100 that was coming out, and the whole math and stuff. So I was like, ah. So I shot. I had like an 87 and then an 88, and then I had one at one of our local ranges in Staten Island, and it was 93, and I needed a 92, and I'm like, okay, I'm not shooting production again until I know that this classifier is going through or not. I had heard that it was, but I didn't want to. And Ben reached. Ben and I were talking. He's like, yeah, don't shoot production for a little while.
Right. Let it go through.
hmm
Yeah, I hear you. Now, what did you think of Area 6?
Area 6 was fun. For me, so being in New York, we're shooting 10 round capacity quite a bit. Everything's pretty much 10 rounds. So being able to shoot a normal capacity match, right, in limited was fun. It was fun, and it was challenging in a different way. So I had only shot 2 high cap matches before that, or 1 high cap match before that. So that was my second. Um, so learning how to, like I'm walking stage, and I'm like, I don't have to reload. Like I could just do one, right? I don't have to do 3 or 2 or whatever, right? So it affords me some opportunity to try to choose different plans, learn how to shoot on the move better, all that kind of stuff. Which is actually why I wanted to shoot limited also. Mentally, my mind wants to hold me back, where my body wants to go. So the choice of limited was major scoring allows me to agree to looser terms mentally to allow my body to do more of what it wants to do naturally, and the result is going to be good as a result. I'm more capable than my mind wants to hold me back for doing, right?
Right.
And then the
Your
shooting and the move
mind is
stuff.
it's governing you. Yeah.
Yes, if I let it,
Exactly.
yes, I have to fight my mind. I basically have to feel uncomfortable, a little bit uncomfortable to get my best performance.
That's pretty good competition there. You got Travis Tomasi, Shane Coley,
hmm
John Browning.
hmm
Okay.
For this year's
Did
goal,
you
I have another 8% to go, 8 to 9%.
Okay. Now, did you get to shoot with any of them or were you
I didn't. I didn't.
Okay.
I've met Travis before. I actually walked stages in 2019 Nationals with him. He was a great dude. You know,
He seemed like it.
yeah, super nice guy, very helpful. You know, one of those
I
guys
figured you
like
guys.
oh, God.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say he's one of those guys like you can never get mad at him even because he's just so nice all the time.
I feel like you guys could have like a side bet though on your reloads during the match. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Reloads were my initial obsession for sure. I probably spent a lot more time chasing them than I should have, but you know, so it's
It's
how
all
it
good.
goes. It teaches you
Yeah.
stuff too. You know, try and excel at one thing like that teaches you a lot, really a lot about how to chase that level of detail in something else, in something that now it's chasing the right thing. You know, chasing reloads is cool, but you know, you're doing even in production, you're doing 2 or 3 reloads in a stage. It's not as much as let's say chasing perfect transitions, right? That's going to save you 1 to 2 tenths of a second on a 32 round field course, 20 transitions. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
but being able to do that to that level now allows me to put my mind to work to figure out the same thing when it comes to transitions or movement or efficiency. You know, and
Yeah.
that now pays off.
And again, mathematically, I mean, if your transitions are just a quarter of a second faster,
Hmm.
over 20 of them,
Hmm.
you're talking 5 seconds worth of transition time.
Without doing anything different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just with that. So,
Hmm.
what would you say right now? What do you think is the area that you need to work on to get you to that top 10 level?
So where I'm focusing this year's skill development is on movement, right? So
Okay.
especially with my drop foot issue, it makes movement different for me compared to other people. So I have to work harder to do the same things that other people might be able to do a little bit more naturally, right? So movement for me is literally what I'm practicing probably 80 to 90% of the time at this point. Static stuff last year I spent all year working on transitions. So now to the point where I can put that on almost autopilot. So drive my vision to the right spots and let the gun come there. And now I can start to really pay attention to the lower half of my body at that level of detail that I chased transitions the year before, and that I chased reloads the year before that, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So, I have a couple questions on that then.
Absolutely, man.
Because, because one, I'll start with I don't want to call it prosthetic, but are there shoes that are somewhat spring loaded in the bottom that can help with the rise of the foot back up into a normal position?
No, I don't know if I have it here. I'll show you what I'm wearing currently. Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna get taking my shoes off now. Gonna get a little weird,
Is
but
this scratch and sniff?
yeah. Well, no, I wouldn't want to sniff these ones, but to each their own, I guess. So what I currently wear now. So this is made by a company called Sabo, right? And you see how there are these little strings here,
Yeah.
right? There are eyelets that hook into the shoe right here,
Okay.
right? So the way this goes on, and these are like the boa straps. So like when you loosen it, you can pull the string, and then what you do is you ratchet it, right? So
Okay.
this goes around my foot, right? And there's a little magnet strap that holds it together. It'd help if I put it together correctly, right? So this goes on like that, right? You see that there.
Okay. Yep.
And then the strings that goes around my ankle, and the strings hook into these little straps here.
Oh,
And
okay.
what happens is
Same concept.
now when I ratchet it up, it lifts my foot up to my desired level. You know,
Right.
higher
You
or
can
lower
adjust
doesn't
it.
really matter, right? What I
Okay.
used to wear was a carbon fiber insole, right? That went into underneath the insole of the shoe, and it actually had a strut that came up and went around the back that connected to the top of my leg. So it was very supportive, but it was very rigid. And then you
Okay.
couldn't really feel the ground very well. So once I
Oh.
bought this from this company, and I actually posted a video review from one of their older versions, and they were kind enough to actually send me this newer version. Um, once I went to this, I have a lot more ground feel, and I feel that I can move. I have a lot more stability because my foot has more degrees of freedom, so to speak. Right, I can
Yeah.
actually move it. I have good stability despite having a half working foot, but
Right. Your
being able to
problem's
feel
just
everything.
lifting it back up.
Yeah, yeah, that's all I need. I could push down, and I can turn inward, but I can't go outward or pull up.
And
Right.
and I mean,
That was going to be my question. Is you can still push off fine?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I could push off. I could push off like normal. You know,
Okay.
just the stabilization part requires more on my leg versus my ankle doing the work. Right. So my quads, my glutes, like all that stuff, um, is what I need to balance versus just being able to articulate the ankle like we normally would be able to do.
okay. And I mean, for most people, I know for me, I do a lot of feel with my feet when I move
Hmm.
into a position, especially in the corner of the fault line.
Hmm.
When you're planting your foot there, you can kind of feel where you're at and how you need to adjust your foot if need be. So having something solid like that and not being able to feel the ground very well would not
Oh,
be that would be difficult.
yeah, true story. 2019 Area 7. That was my first major. Back when I was B class, I shot one stage, right, and there was a position where you went into a corner, you shot some stuff, um, you know, uh, drop out target, with an activator, that kind of stuff, right, and I shot the stage, and I was like, yeah, that was awesome, right. But I didn't realize because I had that big old strut brace like thing that my foot had actually leaned out and touched the ground
Oh.
for 5 shots. So
Oh no.
five. So the guy walks up. He says, "Yeah, you shot 5 shots from outside the fire." I'm like, man, went from third on the stage to like 50th or something like that.
Now I'm going to the practice score app and doing the what if.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I did the what if when I got home for sure.
Right. Oh, that's
But
heartbreaking.
it's learning. That's all.
Now the other part of my question was you Wanzik is huge on movement and all of that. So did you get a chance to kind of pick his brain a little bit with that stuff while you were at the summit?
So not at the summit, but so him and I, we're what I would consider good friends at this point. Like I said, we talk about 2 or 3 times a week. Um, Last year I went to go visit him in Washington, and what we did was, we had a 3 day, like we were just training together. Um, and actually at that time we tried to figure out what way to start pursuing movement for me,
Okay.
and with my situation. So on PSTG, there's actually a movement series that we did together, right? Where we actually took the videos and discussed all these things, why we're doing what we're doing. Um, and it's on PSTG for everybody to look at now. So you can see exactly how that went and why I kind of choose to move the way that I move now. It made a big difference, 100%. He even took me to his physical therapist, right? To see about some of that stuff and see what we can work on in terms of movement. He really tried to go above and beyond to help me out, and it's paying off for sure.
But that's kind of his personality too. One,
Yes.
he likes to help people, but two, he's very inquisitive.
Hmm.
So I'm sure for even his own knowledge benefit, he would enjoy doing that and learning how in the world to overcome things like that too.
Yes, and he would actually tell me some of the things that he would do is he would do things wrong on purpose just so he can understand how to teach somebody that's doing that wrong thing. So like the wrong things with the grip, he would actually shoot like completely wrong on purpose to understand what he might tell somebody in that case to do.
Hmm.
Which is, I
Wow.
mean, he's totally committed to being a mentor and a guide.
Yeah.
He's just an awesome dude, 100%. I'm glad that he's a mentor to me. It's helped me a ton.
On a sad point, I don't have to mess up on purpose.
Yeah,
I do plenty of it on accident.
we all do. We all do.
Are you going to say something, Leo?
Yeah, I was gonna something very similar. Like, I'd love to see what he messed up on, so that he can. I mean, insert mess up here, and you'd probably be like, "Oh, Leo, I can help you fix that."
He shot. So one of the things he did, he literally shot with a teacup grip, shooting doubles on purpose, just to understand how it works and why it's so weird.
This would be the perfect time to have Huggy on the show. I don't know if you've ever seen Huggy, but imagine a large African American male holding a firearm like this. Sorry, Dave, I'll point it somewhere else. Yes, and doing this, and that's the grip he has the first time you take him to a match.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know that guy. He just followed me.
Just
one of my closest friends. I've known him for over a decade. Like, we were on a unit together in a fire department for like 2 years. I've known a guy a long time. I disavowed. I was the CIA and he got stuck across enemy lines. I'm like, I don't know him.
You are no longer my friend.
Yeah. Like, we cannot ride the bus together. Yeah. It was rough.
He is pretty funny.
That's a tough one.
And now he's a law enforcement officer.
Oh, okay. Well, did you fix the grip
fire
though?
Department. In the fire.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
the likelihood of him, the likelihood of him having to draw, let alone discharge his firearm at work, is relatively low. Yeah. Unless somebody doesn't want to get a violation for fireworks, which would be kind of silly. But, you know what I mean? Right. So I'm gonna knock on wood real quick because I don't want to get like he's shot at. But yeah, I don't really foresee him needing the skill set. But,
right.
But yeah, I mean, he still shoots, so
that's good, and we corrected it. So that's,
we
all start somewhere.
Oh yeah, that was everybody and their mother was like, "Hey, let me help you fix that," and I was just like, "Yeah, everybody, you guys should go help him. I'm gonna go over here."
I watched some of those videos back in 2018, and I'm I just want to close my eyes and just forget it ever happened. You know, it's hard to look back at some of that stuff, but that's progress.
I want to play a couple of videos from your Instagram if you're good with that.
No, whatever you want to do.
Okay, let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Allow. Now okay, there shouldn't be any volume with this.
Okay.
So we will be the only volume.
Sure.
But this was one of the neat ones I saw on your Instagram that you had put up, and it was a transition training exercise.
Yep.
Do you mind taking a moment while it's going and just talk about what you're doing and why?
So, yep. So as we're playing it, right? What I'm describing to people is the transition process, right? So the way we break this down in terms of working transitions in dry fire, live fire, we break it down into its components, right? So eyes and head are always moving at maximum speed. So the first thing I'm trying to do is find a very small spot on target as fast as I possibly can, right?
Okay.
The next thing I'm doing is I'm bringing my arms into it. So eyes and head are still moving at maximum speed, but now your arms are coming over precisely. They're not over transitioning from shoulder tension. They're not stopping short because you're not looking precisely enough. Those kind of things, right?
Okay. And
then we take
there.
Yeah, and then what we do is we take the gun out after that, and we don't do the trigger press because now the sights or the fiber is going to give you more visual information that you have to process, right? So it's the same concept, right? Except now you're seeing, in my case, I'm looking for the fiber while target focused, right? So eyes are going maximum speed to the next spot. Gun is showing up there. I'm seeing the fiber, right? Then I'm going on to the next spot. The trigger press adds an extra stimulus, an extra variable that can potentially cause issues. So you don't know if it was the trigger press that was off or your transition was off, right?
Okay.
And then at the end, I did the whole thing because it just looked cool. So that's one of my staple drills that I've been doing, and it's specifically in my case for visual speed, you know, with the gun, and in terms of recognition of what I want to do, what I want to see, and shoot quickly. Right.
And now I'm not broken it down quite like you have here,
Hmm.
obviously. I've done something similar, and it helped me because at one point I couldn't tell. I didn't know if I was leading with my eyes or following my dot.
Hmm.
So I was doing where I would, in dry fire, put my gun out on my target and then snap my eyes to the next target. And then once I found visually where I was going to shoot,
Okay.
then I allowed myself to transition over, if that makes sense.
Yep. It's a
And
common
that
way to
seemed,
start it.
and that seemed to work for me, but I really like this. I think this is good, especially for someone. Had I been doing this then, I think I would have been much further ahead where you're breaking it down bit by bit by bit.
Hmm. And
Of
there's a lot. There's everything. If you could break it down into little bits, you can get pretty good pretty fast by doing that. My reloads, I did the same thing. I broke it down into 5 parts. Right. Most people do
Okay.
like the Burkett, right? So they do the Burkett, they get the mag, bring it up and stop it, right? And then they reset
Right.
it or they insert it, whatever. I had 5 individual micro drills within the reload process, and it's actually on my YouTube as well for people. It's still
Really?
it's still up for people to see. It's a while back, but this kind of work that I showed here, I did this in I think it was 2019 or 2020. Like I would do that before every drill I did. I'd move my head and eyes really fast, and then I'd bring my arms into it, and then I'd bring the gun into it, right?
Oh,
And then the
wow.
reload is just because it's cool. I mean, you got to wow the people with something. It's weird. It's weird when I post a video without a reload because someone always comments, "Hey, there's no reload in this video."
Right.
So what else we got
Now,
here?
so I've got a couple of things. One, I'll do the reload elbow. I call the
Sure.
reload elbow
Yep. Yep.
because when I watched your video, I kind of feel like I might still be doing this a little bit.
Okay.
But I also had a question separate after watching you do this.
Absolutely.
So I'll let you.
Oh, well, here, let me talk. So
Yeah, great.
what most people do, yeah, the most I'm watching myself. I'm like, because I enjoyed making this video, right? But a lot
Okay.
of people they like to chicken wing the reload, and what happens is that creates an odd path for the reload to take, right? So what I learned is by just as soon as you grab the mag, if you bring the mag out of the pouch and drop your elbow, the mag rotates right to the spot that I want it to be. And I'm a little different than most people in the sense that I like to set the reload position first. So I like to figure out where the mag's going to end up most naturally, and then I make the gun work around that spot. And typically speaking, it's
Oh.
about chest height and it's about 8 to 10 inches from your body. Right? People think I reload low, but I actually just pull my arm in until my bicep touches my pec or my rib cage, and that's where my reload occurs.
Oh, yeah, there it was at the end in slow motion. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Because
that
I,
that was the idea there. I was giving a lot of people at the time on my online lessons like that correction because I'd see their elbow go up like this, and then this creates a lot of inconsistency.
now do you, I feel like my issue is I'm exaggerating the draw from the pouch, like I'm
Hmm.
having to clear it almost.
Could be.
Um,
That could create tension also if you think about it, like that excess because now you're really trying to get it out. You're creating a lot of tension in your shoulder, and then it's causing tension related issues getting it up to the spot. But if you can just find out first where the mag is going to be and now adjust your gun to that spot, which is typically the mag well is pointed at the mag pouch, right?
right.
I don't see inside the mag well either. Like I don't see physically inside because if I could see the bottom line of the mag well, my angle now becomes this in
Gotcha.
some way, shape, or form. So I see the bottom line of the grip. So like if I got the gun here, right? I
All right, let
see
me change
this
this
line
back. Give me one
here.
second. Let me
Yeah,
change
take your time.
this. There you go. All right, go ahead and do it now.
So I'm seeing the bottom line. I don't see inside,
Gotcha.
right? Because if you're seeing
Okay.
inside, your angle's off a little bit. But at least, the other thing too, since I got this here, I try to get to the spot where I'm touching my index finger to the bottom of the grip.
Okay.
Because now, right, what most people, the most common problem with people's reloads is they get to here, and then they want to send the mag home. That's awesome if that's like that. And this is the internet, so I'm not actually pointing a gun at you. But so this looks good here, right? It looks good to us, right?
Right.
But look at that.
Right.
So what happens is now they release control of the mag here, and they go flying all over the place.
Bye-bye magazine.
So by being able to get to this specific spot here, right, where you're already touching the grip, now the mag is already partially inserted.
Yeah, there's
And
only
then
one place it can go.
Right. If you can, the faster you can recognize that or confirm that the mag is going in, you can send the mag home. And what happens if not? Now you have full control up to this spot, right? And if you bump, right, you'll feel it first probably. You'll still have control of it, and then you can just put it where it needs to go and insert. It doesn't cost you as much time. It also creates less stress mentally, right? Because that's the problem with people trying to reload fast. They get mentally rushed, and then they try to do this crazy stuff, right? If it's as simple as, is it going in? Yes, put the mag in. Is it going in? No, put it where it needs to go in. Put it in. Makes it simple, right? Simple creates less stress. You don't worry about it as much. There's a Nationals video on my Instagram, right, where I'm actually able to process things at such a high level with the reload. It was a standing reload stage, so it's 2-2, 2-2 reload and a stack in the middle, right? Body, head. And I remember on that stage, right? You take a look on the Instagram later. I remember seeing the witness holes on the mag, and seeing the numbers as if I were holding it in my hand, looking at it like this, at full speed. It was cool. It just shows you when you push yourself to try to process faster, like you can process a lot more than you think.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just have to train yourself to do it. Wow.
Yes.
So I noticed that it looks like you have bullets out in a mag pouch.
I do.
Now, do you prefer that over bullets forward?
So, yeah, so this is my setup here. Google Reboss is what I use. These have worked the best for me, by the way. They don't break. They're and the release is good, and they don't fall out. But so when I first started, I started doing bullets forward, right? And I had seen Ben's website, and I actually reached out to him on Instagram, and I said, hey, what do you think about bullets forward or bullets out, right? And he said it really doesn't matter. And truthfully, I agree with that. I don't think it matters a lot. I think if you're comfortable with it, run bullets forward. If you want to run bullets out to try it, that's great. That's what I did. I just tried it for a bit, and I just liked it. It was good. What I do like about it is that I can grab each mag individually if I choose, right? So they don't really get in the way. You're not kind of sweeping back and running mags into other mags potentially. The other thing that I like is that when you go to grab the mag, right, your wrist doesn't have to rotate. So when you grab bullets forward, your wrist has to rotate, right? Whereas bullets out, your wrist just come up to the spot. Bullets out is not as good when you start moving the pouches forward. So like in my production setup, even after the rule change, right? This was my first pouch before, right? I took my fifth pouch and I moved it in front, and that's all I did.
Okay.
So now I don't have to use as much shoulder to get further back, and I get a little bit. The reload the time really isn't any different. I don't remember. I think I did my fastest reload on video or in a session with just a normal first pouch, like the hip bone pouch back in 2020 or something like that. So it doesn't make that much difference,
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.